Fastest show in sports.
College sports and gambling, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, we're back here again to college basketball, and they're busting 3 players. Now, for those of you who are not aware of all this, let's take you back to February of this year, February 2025, and this is where the entire investigation idea started to happen and where we started to hear a little bit about what was going on. And everybody, of course, was completely shocked.
That hurts Fresno. It hurts our look, what we are. So yeah, that's brutal.
Fresno State fans are reeling with Bulldog sports under a cloud of controversy. In a statement, Fresno State Athletics say Jalen Weaver and Zayon Collins were withheld from competition as the university reviews an eligibility matter. Action News has learned that the matter involves accusations that the players had been gambling on their own games. Action News has also learned the university was alerted to the gambling via a tip, which launched an internal investigation, which has now been turned over to the NCAA.
I mean, it affects everything top down. This definitely affects the players itself as a personal accountability thing, but it definitely goes bigger into the program. This definitely stains our program.
Fresno State sports fan Brandon Lara says he noticed something was off with the team when he attended 3 games this season.
I've gone to a couple games and, it's like we're right there, we're going to win, and then all of a sudden we lose in overtime multiple times when it's right there. You could see that they could win.
A third, now former Bulldog, Michael Robinson, is also being investigated for sports gambling. He's been off the roster since January.
We take pride in the Valley to really root them on, and it's all about the V and everything, and to see that's possibly going on, very disappointing.
My beloved Bulldogs. This is my alma mater, damn it. Yes, I only went there 2 years. Yes, I got a Bachelor of Arts in journalism, and it took me 6 years to get out of college. But damn it, the Bulldogs. I spent 3 years of my life in Fresno in that Central Valley, and they are just rabid sports fans. Of course, you remember they got the all-time crook of college basketball to work there at one point, Fresno native Jerry Tarkanian, late of UNLV at that point. But the bottom line is, I was going to be all excited for these guys, and I saw them dunking, and then you're telling me they threw games. They lost in overtime. They were throwing games.
And now the NCAA got involved after all that. Michael Robinson, Steven Vasquez, Jalen Weaver, and of course there's a Fresno State and a San Jose State connection to all this. They have all been banned for life from ever being involved in any NCAA sport because, and here's how really good these masterminds were, Mike. They were so good at it, so stealthy at hiding it. All people had to do and the investigators had to do was go to their phones. They were texting back and forth to each other about what they were going to do and how they were going to fix the games. These geniuses, these absolutely incredible gambling wackos out here. But this is odd. Why? There's no shock involved in here at all. College basketball players gambling. First of all, basketball players themselves and college basketball players are, in my opinion, the ones who are most likely to do this because they just don't hold the respect for the game, the institution, the people that are involved, and the chance that they have. I think out of all the sports, it's more likely that college basketball players and even NBA players, but college basketball players are going to be involved. It's the easiest game to fix, Mike.
I don't think it has anything to do with all the things you're speaking of, and they don't.
Why not?
No. But to me, it's about. You didn't get any NIL money. You weren't that good, but you did get kind of a scholarship, and you're like all these other people are walking around with money, and you're going, well, this is a way in which now that betting is so prevalent, and maybe they're not going to see that. The worst thing is these prop bets. All of a sudden, Wise is over under for 10 points and 5 rebounds. And I get to 6 rebounds and 4 points, and I pull myself out because I got a nagging knee injury.
Right.
And I basically made tons of people that took the under on me in that prop bet. That's the person. That's how these guys get found out.
That's the point, Mike. That's the point. It's
awful.
You even brought it up. You said we're not getting our NIL money, so we got to make money. Well, I'm making money for the gamblers out there, so I may as well go ahead and take advantage of it. It's easy. College basketball is the easiest sport in the world to fix, and these guys know it. And you've even got the amateur investigator there who basically said, well, I was watching the games and I could tell we were really in the games, and then we got to overtime and we didn't win the games at all. It's odd that on the day that they started that story came out in February, it was a night where Fresno State lost to Air Force in overtime. They lost on that very day that this report came out. It's easy to do. These guys don't give a shit about college basketball. They don't give a crap about the team. They don't care about their teammates. They don't care about the school. They don't care about the opportunity they've been given. The gambling is easy. So they're going to go out and just fix the games. And
it's disturbing, but it's also
something. I'm not even.
But there's a grand hypocrisy brought on by
of course
college. The NCAA is in bed with draft, like some of these companies. There are odds posted on every game. There are prop bets on every game.
With the blessing of the NCAA, with the blessing of the college conferences, with the blessing of the colleges themselves, with the blessing of the television networks and the internet platforms that carry it. They're all part of it, Mike. It's a rampant conspiracy here just for greed.
You know what I'm going to do once, Ed? Because I love the way you say my name. It reminds me of The Godfather when Fredo Mike walks in the hotel room in Vegas, and Fredo goes, "You don't talk to a man like that, like Mike. You don't talk to Mo Green like a man like that." It just sounds like you're about ready to say that. It's exciting, but go ahead.
You don't talk to Mike Wise like that. You don't talk to a man of that stature.
But I don't. I think it's wrong. I think it's a bit, but we're powerless to do it, and I think I think that I would be more scared of the Fresno States than I would the Kansases or the Dukes or the teams that actually have a shot at the national title, or a lock for the tournament, because it's the smaller schools that are have odds that you sort of say, okay, we're going to finish 500 anyway. All you got to do is if you're a mob gambler, or even a small time gambler, you get two kids to buy in, the best two kids on a team,
which is easy,
that play the most minutes. You have a good chance of altering that game if you get two of the it's like the Blue Chips movie.
But
you
your point's well taken,
Penny.
Mike. It happens at the smaller schools. It likely will not happen at the Kansas or the UCLA or the Miami or the Georgetown side of things, because they are basically much more stringent in what they look out for there. But the players there,
and they pay real NIL money.
Even before they paid real NIL money, we're talking about schools where there's an honor, there's a privilege. There's these young men are getting a chance to basically play a game that's going to rise them to new heights, where they can make money, where they can take a chance at the NBA, where they can do all this. These smaller schools and a lot of these scrub players that are at the bottom, they don't give a shit about all that. You got three guys here who basically were involved in nothing more than money. They're greedy, and they're entitled.
Ed, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna go the other side. Why shouldn't they? All they know from their coaches, from their schools that sign up with whatever league is going to give them the best TV money deal. All they know is mercenary life of the school presidents and their coaches. They'll go to the highest bidder. They'll go to the high. The ACC in basketball had a wonderful thing. You had Tobacco Road, NC State, Duke, Carolina, all these schools. Maryland was in there, all these schools. And then all of a sudden the Big Ten comes along and says, Maryland, come on over here, and we're going to give you guys some TV money that you can't refuse. And it ruins, storied rivalries over the years to this day. Yes, the school is richer. It's richer. They probably put a new wing on the business school, but they ruined the fan experience for so many people. And you look at what happened to the Pac-12 and its breakup, and all of a sudden people, Penn State is going to play USC in a league game. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Well, that's the whole dichotomy that's at work here, is because you have the colleges themselves are going, oh, this is terrible. We caught players that are cheating this. You did it. You did it.
Everybody's
The
a
colleges
mercenary.
did it. The conferences did it. The
Or you
networks did
agree
it.
with me?
You're the ones. Yes, I agree with you completely.
Okay.
They're the ones who basically, it's an oddity there. There you go. Mark this one down. We'll put the day down here that we both agree. The colleges are the reason why this has happened because of their innate greed. They want more money. Look, and we're going to get to the point eventually where there's going to be a super conference in college football. There's eventually going to be a super conference, maybe even in college basketball.
Yeah.
And why? Because it's more money. You clowns did this. Every university president, every athletic director, everybody in charge of a network conference contract, you did this. These guys cheat because you made it easy for them. It's your fault. You got in bed with the gamblers and now you're never going to get out of bed with them. It's going to be there for the rest of all time. So we can't, Mike, I love how some people are going, I'm shocked. There's guys basically fixing the games of college basketball. I got news for you. If you think these three guys are the only ones fixing a game, you're insane. You need a lobotomy
Well,
because there's more people out there doing it than you think, and the NCAA can't keep up with it because it's going on so thick thanks to these gamblers.
I'm just upset that my alma mater is not. The kids at my alma mater couldn't cheat without being caught so ridiculous. Like, it just shows you the level of education there has slipped since I graduated. The fact that they had all this on their phones, Ed, it's very depressing. But go ahead.
Well, that's another part of it too. I mean, it's easy. I mean, thanks to the schools that have basically opened the gates on all this, it's easy to get in there. The technology has made it terribly easy to get on your phones and basically make the prop bet, make the bet through somebody else and get away with it. Mike, I wouldn't be shocked if there's at least a small percentage, a couple of percentage of games, maybe a few during every regular season in college basketball that are in some way, shape, or form fixed. Somebody's gambling on it somewhere. You know the players are doing this through their friends and their families, their girlfriends and such. They're betting for them. It's the same thing. But if you want to solve this, I'll give you the way to solve this right now. Easy, okay? At least to start. What they did here was they took all three of these players that were involved, and one of them hadn't been on a roster since January. I think that was the kid Robinson. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay? The second, the instant you catch this, you bounce them out of the school immediately. Then you go to the feds, and you get the feds involved in this, and you find out not only a way to kick them out of the sport, but a way to also get them involved if there's any federal gambling charges. You have to immediately cut the cord. So, and here's what you do. You come up to every single player in every single college sport. You start the year. Hi, guys. Welcome in. Just a reminder. If you gamble, if we catch you, if you break the rules, if you break the laws, you're out. There's no suspension. There's no second chance. You're out. And the first thing we're going to do is find out if the authorities have any sort of problems with you and if there's any sort of ways in here to adjudicate anything that's done illegally. We're going after you. Start there. But they won't do it, Mike.
I don't know. That's not really I don't know. That's a threat. And, okay, you get thrown out of school for smoking dope, or you get thrown out of school for a lot of things. You know what I would do, Ed? I would literally take my best players and say, look, I know you guys are probably going to gamble, but I can't have you betting against yourselves because that's going to affect my job. I'm going to give you money to put on you, my team, and I want you to gamble on us and to take the over and for us to win.
That. Come on.
And then you can't, but why not, Ed? Why not?
Because it'll only open the way up for another form of gambling. If you're betting on yourself, then eventually they're going to get greedy and they're going to bet against you.
Oh. I still like it though. It's a way to make some ancillary income on the side if you're a coach.
Okay, but here's the next thing. The coaches are the ones who are supposed to be in charge of these programs and in charge of whether it's football, basketball, baseball, hockey, makes no difference. Coach is supposed to be the one, the buck stops there. Why not bring the coaches in on this? If you can't control this team and if you can't keep your players from gambling, maybe we ought to fire you. Maybe we ought to take some action against you. But then the coaches are going to raise their hands and go, come on, you want me to do all this and still coach a team and win games? I can't do all this. So you're stuck. But you got to make somebody responsible, Mike.
Yeah, I guess. I guess. I don't. The most coaches in college basketball have more issues than a bond measure, and their baggage can't fit in the overhead compartment of an airplane. So I don't really. I don't look at them as moral compasses. Let's be honest. They did anything they
Well, yeah,
could to
that's a
get
good point.
the recruit on their roster that they have.
Well, that's a
There,
good
but
point
Ed,
because the
college
college
sports
coaches
is all
themselves.
Ed. Everybody in college sports is a mercenary. I don't think gambling should be part of that business, but unfortunately, it is. And you're right. There has to be a stiffer penalty, other than you're off the team or you're simply like, yeah, you're suspended for life in the NCAA. It doesn't mean you can't go and play in NAIA.
You can go to
You know, you can
Greece.
yeah, you go to Greece, you can play in NAIA, you could get yourself back into professional basketball if you're that good. But stop with the idea that somehow, like, who cares about the NCAA? It's just it's a governing body that means nothing
Well,
anymore,
it's
in
the
my
only
opinion.
governing body that's involved in this. I mean, it was reported to them because they still have the oversight of all this.
It's a
So, but
monopoly, and it should be broken up by the government.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
it's gonna be broken up eventually because when you have a school like Ohio State that eventually is going to start pulling rank on everybody, and they're going to say we can make more money being in a super conference or going on our
Yeah.
own, they're going to do it because they're going to make money. So the conferences then will eventually start to erode, and then the NCAA, it becomes maybe that's the key. Just make it a pro sport.
Yeah.
Make it a pro sport.
That's all, folks.